So, building up the crank today with the rods. Got the bearings. These are Marley bearings. Some of these, and then we got some Arrow 161 rods, and then we've got the version 9 crank nitrated, and then some ARP 2000 bolts. So just got to put the bearings in the rods and then oil them up, put them on the crank, and then stretch the bolts to the right spec, and then ready to drop it in the block. So I've got 2 of them on now, first 2, so cylinder number 4, 3, and now just got to put the bearings into the 3rd one. Already done the fourth one, that's ready to go. So yeah, put the bearings in. So you got a little tang, put the tang in. So I put no grease on this, just put the bearing in. So I just line this up on the first side. Then I'm going to just pinch this bearing in a bit so I can feed it down. There we go, straight in. Got to kind of be careful not to scratch the back of the bearing on the edge of the rod. Just give that a little wipe, just to make sure there is nothing that's come off the back of that. And then the other half, put the tang in. Alright, let's give that a little wipe. Alright, so that one's ready. Oh, hold up. So put some lube on there. So now we put this rod on the crank. Let's turn that around a little bit. So I'll put this in. I'll just put this bolt in here to hold it still, and then I can put the assembly lube onto the bolt for the other side. Just put a little bit around the head. And then some for the thread. Take the first one back out, put some on that. Right, torque these up to 15 foot-pounds. Okay, so now I've just got to loosen the top one, measure it, zero it out on the gauge, and then stretch it. So I recommended 44 foot-pounds. I'm using 40 foot-pounds on my torque wrench, and that gets me pretty close, if not bang on. So let's take the top one out and then we'll measure it. Okay, so that's loose now. So I'm going to get my gauge. Alright, so that's there. So reset that back to 0. And then put this to 40 foot-pounds. I'm going to torque this down to 40 foot, and hopefully that stretches it just the right amount. Let's check that. Right, needs a little more. Got 0.137, a little bit more. Let's go just a little bit more. Can go up as high as 0.15, but I've been getting most of these at about 0.143, 0.142. So that's cool. So now the other side, so I'll flip it over to do the other side. This side, loosen it off. And we can measure this. Alright. .143. And now just to do the last one, and then we can put this in the block. Right, so we've got the block on the desk, getting ready to put the crank in. So just got to put silicone sealer around the outside of the block. We'll lube up these first, assembly lube these up, and then we'll drop the crank in, and then put the other half of the block on, bolt it up. So now we can put the sealer around the block. Alright, just a quick little disclaimer. I've never used this before, this RTV silicone sealer. It's pretty much the same as the Freebond 1215, but it comes in a can and it dispenses quite differently from the squeezy bottle that you can pressurize and feed the silicone out nice and smoothly. This kind of like, you really got to have some accuracy when you're using this nozzle to kind of, it builds up pressure and then all of a sudden it rushes out and then it slows down. It's really quite tricky to use. So yeah, it was quite hard putting the silicone on the the one block half when bolting it together, because it just gushes out. So yeah, you'll see a bit of a bloody mess during the video, just where I'm trying to mend, or not mend, but tidy up the amount of silicone that's got onto the block. It's not a nice look, but it's functional and it works how it's supposed to, so that's all that matters. So yeah, right mess. It's really hard to do it with that bottle. It's much harder to dispense it smoothly. Okay, so the block's back together now. The battery on my camera ran out, but yeah, they're now together. Just got to put the pistons in now, but I'll save that for the next job. Like I say, got to get the pins in through those holes. Up here, you see that hole there? This one, and then around the back, this one, and then there's one over there. So something else I didn't mention earlier in this build is that I've actually deleted the oil squirters for squirting the underside of the piston, and I've blanked them off with some button head aluminium bolts and aluminium washers to keep it consistent with the metal of the block, so I just thought I'd mention that. I was advised that this is the best thing to do by a pro engine builder, and he said no, just delete the oil squirters. Reasoning for that, I think, was that if one of them falls out, or if they get blocked or something like that. Some engine builders keep them in and some delete them, so I've gone with a deleted approach this time. Cool.